Hello everyone, Jonathan Realchandur here, and today we're not going to have so much a tutorial as a nice little guide to the Gemini system and various usages of the Starmap interface. Now, this here is our wonderful, beautiful Gemini star system. Each of these hexes represents one sector, and there are 400 in total. For those of you who want to know how to count them properly, we start with 0 down here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Goes all the way to 20, well, there's 20 of them across, but this would be sector number 19. And you go back over here, and this would be 20. 21, 22, 23, and so on. Now, right now, as you can see, we're over here, hanging out near the hollow. But there's some nifty features that can help you, while playing the game, figure out where you are, where you should be, and probably where you shouldn't be. First is the regions map. Clicking this will give you a nice colored guide of all the different regions. All the colors mean is that these are separate regions, not their affiliation to you or anything of that nature. Some regions, sadly, share a close to similar color, so if you're like me, you won't be able to tell the difference between Lagarde Province and District Gamma. But other than that, yeah, it's a good way to give you an idea of where all the different regions are in the game. And this is important if you're bounty hunting, because as you can see, it shows your last known location as the region they were in. For example, this guy was last seen in the Trojan Basin, which would place him somewhere down here. So, the next little feature we've got here is the factions map. Now, this is similar to the regions, only it's shows factions that are, directly allied with each other. Such as before, where you saw multiple regions here, this is all one faction. All this here is Thoria. It's all Pyros. I wonder if Pyros controls Ethera, I can't tell. You've got the Empire's territory here, Directorate territory in here. It seems Directorate owns Lagarde, according to this, so we'll just go with that for now. This seems to be kind of an independent region, mostly owned by Messena. You got the Nyx Consortium's territory. Last Ditch is up here, Pirate area. Yeah, this just kind of shows you the faction affiliations of every region of space. Then the final one we've got is your reputation. I don't think I need to say it, but areas in green you're allied with, areas in red will try to kill you as fast as they can. Areas in blue, which are not present on this map sadly, are neutral. They will neither seek to kill you, nor seek to really help you directly. Now, one thing to note about Gemini is that each region has its own level range. When you first start playing the game, you might notice if you go a little to the right here, ship level jumps up dramatically. Whereas everything basically in Trinity, Vortem Prefecture, Dagron, Orenhelm, and Aristes is level 1 to 15. Second you get over into Lagarde, things get over to like 15 to 25. If you start getting into the Empire area, you're going to start running into level 70 to 90 ships, like, immediately. Definitely not a good idea to hang out there. It's not to say you can't do it, but if you're inexperienced, you probably don't want to hang out in regions of space that will obviously destroy you and your existence. So that's one thing to keep in mind about the Gemini system, is that each region is, I won't say level locked, but has its own level range. Kind of a way to guide the player into, you know, areas you should explore next, areas you should stick to, and kind of give a sense of danger to areas like, you know, Empire is supposed to be a very dangerous territory. Their ships are supposed to be extremely strong against you early game, and being able to go in there level 1 and just facing level 1 ships would kind of defeat the purpose of, hey, these guys are devastatingly powerful. Now, some other features we can see on the star map are the T-gate. And this just gets rid of all the T-gate lines. Wormhole, which gets rid of all the lines showing the wormholes. Now, don't get your hopes up. All this does is remove the riftways from the map. The riftways still exist in the game, which I know a lot of people are not pleased with. But this gets rid of them on the map only, not in the game, sorry. You've got this little guy here, which will remove the nebulas from the map. And this guy here, which removes all the asteroid fields, as well as the salvaging fields as well. Now, as you can see, the riftways appear as these glowy green lines. T-gate connections as these yellow lines. T-gates themselves as the big yellow squares. Orange swirly things, their orange lines are wormholes. These little cloudy looking things are nebulas. Junk fields kind of have a uniform look, kind of like this guy here. And asteroid fields come in various shapes and sizes, because each asteroid field is different. For example, you've got the shard field over here in the Sea of Sorrows. You've got the crystal field over here in Chrysalis. And they all give different yields, as I touched on in a previous tutorial. Another thing you might note is that structures are displayed with these little icons here, and stations are these little green circles, or red in the case of hostile ones. And again, green structures are friendly, red hostile, and blue neutral to you. Now, I think since I have talked a little bit about reputation, I'm going to couple into this one a little discussion about reputation that it probably throws some people off. I'm going to show this by, as you can see, I'm friendly with both Trinity and LaGuardia. But let's see what happens when I go between their territory. I'm sure some of you already have a clear idea of what's about to happen. For those of you who don't, I'll leave it as a nice little surprise. I'm using a modified version of the Dominaur here, new ship I just actually finished making. Basically just made it as good as the other carriers. I like to think of it as the Celestial of carriers. It's got good shields, not so good hull, but it's a fairly good ship overall. One thing I gotta fix is the back heavy launcher, because that will not fight right now. Other than that though, I'm pretty pleased with the ship. And why do I keep doing this when I've got T-drives? I mean, someone remind me that I've got T-drives. Okay, we'll go right to the edge of Trinity space here. And you're going to see something interesting that will probably confuse a couple people. Because where your relationships with everyone is on a binary stasis, either you're friends with, you know, lawfully aligned factions or enemies with unlawfully aligned factions, the factions themselves don't follow this same rule. And if we hang around here long enough, we will see that in action. We'll just cross into LaGuardia territory.
All power to engines.
As you can see, we've got plenty of Trinity ships running around, Gemini Protectorate. We just gotta cross into LaGuardia, get some of their ships to spawn, and things will get really interesting really quick.
Checking the star chart, Captain. New missions are available.
There we go. Now,
friendly target acquired.
And here's another one of the oddities, unless... No, that's Syndicate, that's a pirate. He won't prove an oddity, but... We've got Trinity ships and LaGuardia ships in the same sector. And... Here's the thing about Trinity and LaGuard. They aren't friends. If these ships stray close enough together, they will start attacking each other. Which is exactly... Yep, you can see the Trinity ships are now going in for an attack on the LaGuardian ships. Those are not traders, those are security ships. They are not going to have fun with LaGuardia Station, they're going to have fun with him if they can catch him. And it looks like they are definitely going to catch him, so let's catch up and... Yep, as you can see, the fun has already started. And as you can see, that's the guard being fired on by Trinity. Two sides both allied with me, but at any given time we'll try and kill each other. Meanwhile, over here, those guys are Directorate ships, my mortal nemesis. Yet they can freely move around the guard space, free as they can. As you can see, they're parked right next to the station by all these other ships. It's only once these Trinity guys come up that things will get real. So, that's one of the oddities that you'll find in the game with regions as well. Areas that are allied with you might not be allied with each other. The very same can be said for the Directorate and the Empire. They fight a bitter war with each other constantly. So, yeah. Good way to capture ships, in fact, is come here to LaGuardia if you're able to capture frigates. And just take out these Directorate ships. Because the LaGuard ships will not harass you, or the Directorate ships, and you can easily just take them as you please. But if you bring Trinity along for the ride, they might ruin your party. But yeah, as you can see, Trinity, LaGuard, not friends. Definitely not allies in any sense of the imagination, even though, for me, they're both allied with me. Meanwhile, the guard is busy trading with the Directorate, and the Directorate hates my guts. So, you'll see this kind of play throughout the entire Gemini system. I like to think of it as Gemini's busy playing a game of Sword of the Stars, while you're busy playing a game of... Let's see how much I can get while staying alive. And of course, depending on which way you go, you can have either side red or green to you. Or try and keep as many factions as possible neutral to you, but getting green factions is most preferable because then you can get license that will help you out in the game. But that's really the gist of the star map and the Gemini system as a whole. One other thing you can do now is left click on an area, go to info to tell you the region, the faction that owns it, and anything in there that's considered contraband, and it will give you the sector number. Pretty handy, actually. Handy for modders, handy for players, handy all around. That's really about all I have to say on this particular subject, I think. If you can think of any questions you have, feel free to ask them. Comments below are good. Steam forum thread is good. And I guess with that, I shall bid you guys adieu. Have a good one, all. Thanks for watching.